Dreyfus gave up resistance and let it take over his body. It then planned to murder the great knight Zarathos and place all the blame on the 7 deadly sins. People said that the creature was a demon named Fraudrin. 16 years ago, it murdered the girl Meliodas loved the most. By this time, Meliodas has regained consciousness, and surprisingly, everyone is only slightly injured. It turns out that while Galand wasn't paying attention, Gowther had silently altered his memories, making him think he had killed everyone. Merlin asks Gowther to wear a magic bracelet so that his power won't go out of control. The commandment power is too strong, so there is no way for Merlin to return to her original form. Experiencing the battle, everyone knows the fear of the 10 Commandments. Moreover, there are still 9 demons who have not yet revealed themselves. Although Merlin's body has been petrified, she is still able to communicate with the party through a magic gem. Merlin says the most important thing right now is for everyone to find a way to raise their power level. Except for the Scraps Captain Hawk, the more the demons absorb the souls of humanity, the more difficult they will become to deal with. The team must try to shorten the gap in strength between the 2 sides in the shortest time possible. To do that, everyone needs to find the last member of the 7 deadly sins. It's Escanor, the sin of pride. King returns to Gowther with the team after settling the affairs of the Fairy King's forests. However, when he meets Diane again, King discovers that she has suddenly lost her memory and has forgotten who he is, except for Meliodas. Diane doesn't recognize any of them. According to Merlin's speculation, it is possible that Diane suffered amnesia due to a head injury during her previous battle with Galand. But after a while, everyone discovers that Diane is missing. It turns out that Gowther erased her memories to test the words she said in fury. King punches Gowther in the face, then they all set out to find Diane. 16 years ago, Diane was once a member of the giant race. They would fight for anyone as long as guests offered a fair price. That money is used to feed the people of the tribe. The leader of the tribe is a girl named Matrona. The giants were a warlike tribe. They only valued the strong and considered dying on the battlefield an honor for a warrior. So Matrona trained members of the giant race extremely rigorously. Diane had a close friend named Dolores. Contrary to other giants, she didn't like to fight. Matrona and the elders appreciated Diane's potential and planned to train her to become the strongest warrior among the giants. Upon learning of this, Diane left the tribe because she just wanted a free and happy life. It was also the first time Diane met Meliodas. The two became friends. Diane, listening to him talk about his interesting friends, made her feel that such a life was really good. A few years later, Diane returned home to find out that her best friend Dolores had been killed by a band of robbers. Matrona considered it a shameful death, which greatly infuriated Diane. The two had a conflict, and Matrona taught Diane a lesson. The people of the giant race lived only for battle and pride. The weak will be eliminated, and the strong will survive in the world. The next day, Matrona led Diane into a large-scale war with a group of soldiers led by the holy knight Ganon. Matrona found it strange that the enemies hadn't appeared yet, but Ganon said that they were most likely hiding somewhere. Suddenly, Matrona fell into a trap, and large rocks fell on her. It turns out this was all Ganon's plot. He wanted to take down the giant clan leader to raise his reputation. During the battle, Matrona blocked an arrow for Diane. Unexpectedly, that arrow was poisoned by Ganon. However, Matrona used her last strength to destroy all her enemies. She then breathed her last in Diane's arms. Although Diane has now had her memories erased, in her heart, she still remembers the way back home. If Gowther hadn't erased Diane's memories, this wouldn't have happened, so King still looks at him with angry eyes. According to the remaining memory, Diane is about to go to the territory of the giants. But unexpectedly, that place has become the base of the 10 Commandments. Galand is surprised to learn that Diane is still alive because Gowther changed his memories to make him think she died in the battle at Camelot. Diane swings her hammer at Galand, but is blocked by Galand with just one hand. He then counterattacks, seriously wounding Diane. At this time, the surrounding rock suddenly moves to surround Galen, causing him to be trapped inside it. It turns out that someone saved Diane, and unexpectedly, Matrona is still alive after being hit by Ganon's poisonous arrow. When Galen gets out, the two have left, making him extremely angry. 10 Commandments sense Meliodas' group approaching. One of them summons a hellfire bird to attack them from afar. Meliodas asks Hawk's mother to change course and move at full speed, but the hellfire bird can change direction and follow them to the end. Hawk assumes everyone is going to die, but his mother swallows the hellfire bird. However, Merlin tells the group that this is not the right time to fight the 10 Commandments because everyone's strength is too weak. In the past, Merlin separated Meliodas' power because it was too dangerous, but now they need the power to battle the 10 Commandments. The remaining power of Meliodas is hidden in the Holy Land of the Druids. They go to the Holy Land. After going inside, everyone is greeted by the leader of this place. However, the uncle is only a bodyguard, and the true leaders are 2 little girls standing beside him. One of the girls leads Meliodas and Elizabeth into the tower. That's where his power is hidden. If Meliodas wants to regain his strength, he needs to pass the test here. The girl then takes Meliodas back to Denafor, 16 years ago. Meliodas meets Liz again, the girl he loves the most. On the other hand, Elizabeth also has her test. She has to make a diseased seed germinate in conditions of lack of water and light. Meliodas is walking with Liz because the illusion is so real. He enjoys this happy time. However, a moment later, the scene changes, bringing Meliodas back to the battle from 16 years ago. Liz's death had driven him insane. His powers were also out of control. Then time goes back to the point where Meliodas met Liz. It turns out that Meliodas' test will make him suffer the past loop hundreds of times. Outside, the remaining people are led to the cave to train their skills. Here, everyone runs into a few acquaintances, including Hendrickson and the trio of knights of the Lyonis Kingdom. They have just undergone training in the cave, so they look extremely pathetic. Meanwhile, Meliodas' will is constantly being tested, as the test forces him to witness Liz's death 100 times. If Meliodas continues, his spirit is in danger of collapsing before he passes the test. But despite the girl's advice, Meliodas still doesn't want to stop the test. He must gain strength to be able to defeat the 10 Commandments. To do that, he will have to face his past. After witnessing Liz's death hundreds of times, Meliodas also lets go of the past and looks to the future. He finally passed the test. Elsewhere, Ban and Jericho left the fairy forest to go to a small town. In the evening, when they come to the motel to rent a room, the owner reminds them to do it gently because the bed in his room is about to break. After chatting for a while, Jericho learns that Ban used to live in this town when he was a child. They discover that there is a person outside being beaten by thugs. Ban beats them up to save that person. Unexpectedly, he is a beastman. This beastman's body is very weak right now, so they give up the only bed to let him rest. Ban suddenly remembers his past. His home was too poor, so he had to steal food, and each time he was beaten very brutally. While in prison for theft, Ban met a kind man who gave him food. The man's name is Zhivago, a professional thief. Unexpectedly, those days in prison were the happiest times that Ban had ever experienced. But when released, Ban is faced with a brutal and violent reality. He had nowhere else to go. Ban fell into the trap of human traffickers. When he was about to be sold into slavery, he was accidentally rescued by Zhivago. Since then, the two had combined to become a super thieving couple. Zhivago imparted to Ban his entire skill in stealing. They had become the famous thief duo in the town. Zhivago confided that the reason he stole was that he had a son who needed to be taken care of. He was also very concerned about Ban and considered him as his second son. One day, Ban was unfortunately caught stealing. Zhivago wanted to save Ban, but at that time, he heard that the soldiers had gone up the mountain to hunt beastmen. It turned out that Zhivago was also a beastman. He had to abandon Ban to return to save his son, but he was still late. In the end, it is unexpected that the current Zhivago is in front of him after many years of separation. Ban and Zhivago finally met again. Meanwhile, Meliodas and King enter the cave to train. King suddenly attacks Meliodas and asks if he is really their ally because all previous indications point to Meliodas' identity as a member of the demon race. King has to confirm this for everyone's safety. Ban no longer hates Zhivago for abandoning him to save his son, because in that situation, he would have done the same. Ban tells Zhivago that he drank from the fountain that Zhivago told him about. Zhivago doesn't expect it to really exist. While everyone is talking in another place, the dead are brought back to this world by some dark force. Back to Ban, he confides between love and friendship. He chose Elaine, so now he does not dare to return to face Meliodas. Zhivago doesn't want Ban to have the same regrets as him, so he advises Ban to go see Meliodas and sincerely apologize. After saying that, Zhivago is gone forever, but a smile of liberation shows up on his face. Meanwhile, the battle between King and Meliodas has stopped, but King still doesn't fully trust him. From now on, King will watch over Meliodas' every move until he is worthy of everyone's trust. After they go out, the leader of the sanctuary summons Meliodas' sealed power, which looks like a giant stone. After the stone breaks, the entire sanctuary is immediately enveloped in darkness. Very quickly, that source of power is completely absorbed by Meliodas' body. At last, the night is dispelled, and the light returns. After regaining his strength, Meliodas asks Merlin to teleport him to the Ten Commandments base. The appearance of Meliodas makes them feel extremely surprised. Meliodas first attacks Gayland for injuring his comrades. He repeatedly attacks Gayland, making him unable to resist. He then tells Merlin to bring him back, angering the Ten Commandments. Feeling that the demon race is being humiliated, the Ten Commandments decide not to let the matter go. Sometime later, Hawk and the others also complete their training, but Elizabeth fails. Even so, Meliodas doesn't blame her. As it turns out, one of the two leaders has long had feelings for Meliodas, so she gave Elizabeth the seed that could not germinate. Having passed the test of the Holy Land, everyone's strength stats have increased a lot. Hawk says that he was swallowed by a dragon, but he ate it from within and gained a new skill. Now the group just needs to find the last member of the 7 deadly sins. Right now, the 10 Commandments are attacking the villages nearby to collect human souls. They use mysterious voodoo to resurrect the dead, including Elaine. But when Elaine comes back to life, her personality changes, and even her dress turns black. She tears through space to find Ban, almost killing Jericho, but luckily Ban stops her. Elaine kisses Ban on the mouth with her tongue after years of separation. If you liked it, leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss any more videos. We'll see you again tomorrow in all its glory. See you soon.